Hello, and welcome to the first training, step 1, of how do we move from Tegrity to Screencast-O-Matic. Let's talk about Screencast-O-Matic. Essentially what's going to happen in step 1 is that you're going to download to your desktop or laptop the actual screencast recorder. So that's what this step is all about. Basically, one of the major changes is that you'll be able to record without any time limits using Screencast-O-Matic. Many of you have already used this product before, and you may have been restricted to a 15-minute limit. That's now gone because you're now using LawsonState's Screencast-O-Matic recorder. You'll be able to use this recorder for free for all faculty and staff. You'll be able to also upload your recordings on your private YouTube channel, which, by the way, in phase 1 of training, we kind of walked you through how to set up a YouTube channel and how to interface YouTube with Blackboard. So if you have to go back and reflect on that, please go back to the website to pick up that training. Also, of course, you'll be able to share your recordings, as I just mentioned, between YouTube and Blackboard. So let's get started. I don't know, as you can see, our new website is Screencast-O-Matic/LawsonState. So that gets you to this page, or you can just go to our website and click on the download install button, and that'll get you started here. So the very first step, before you click start recorder, don't even go over in this area yet. Do not record until you actually install the recorder on your desktop or laptop, and you can do both as we mentioned. So go ahead and click to get started, click on download install. And as you can see, it says run the installer. These are the steps you're going to follow after you download. So you actually have to download the installer on your computer system, and then once you install, you'll follow these steps. We're going to run the installer, then we're going to click on Site License on the installer on your desktop, and then we're going to enter this access URL, LawsonState, and we're going to enter the password. The password is Lawson3060. Lawson, all lowercase, 3060. So now that we've been reminded of what to do after we download, let's get started. You can see at the bottom of the screen here, you'll see a little bar that pops up. Do you want to run or save install Screencast-O-Matic? And hopefully you can see this on your screen. So I'm going to go ahead and click run. And it's going to first run a security scan. You can kind of see that it's running. And let's just be patient. It's going to take a few minutes. We're really excited about the transition between Tegrity and Screencast-O-Matic. Not only does it save the college about $40,000 a year, can you imagine that type of savings just by moving from Tegrity to Screencast-O-Matic? But the other thing that we really like is that videos are now going to be on YouTube under your private account. So you have more autonomy over those videos. They are yours, and you'll be able to basically pick and choose which ones your students can have access to through your private channel. This saves us in terms of not putting a lot of videos on our server. So basically the move makes sense. It does mean there are a few more steps for you as a faculty member or a staff member, but again, we don't believe that the steps are too laborious. Essentially, you'll have access to your videos, and then you interface them with Blackboard. That's really the only additional step. So you can see this is still running a scan. I'm actually glad it's taken a few minutes, because depending on your browser, I don't want you to think that something's wrong when there's nothing going on in this part of the window. It's just still scanning for security purposes. So let's just be patient. So once we download, remember the whole idea is to get this downloaded on your computer system. Okay, so you notice we have a message now. The install Screencast-O-Matic, Screen-O-Matic, has downloaded, has completed. So we're going to go ahead and click View Downloads. So you can see that the first one, I've done this a lot today, just playing around with it. So we're going to pick the very first one. I'm going to go ahead and click Run. Don't be alarmed if nothing happens initially. You know, it just takes a few minutes for it to kind of pop up. So we're waiting for a pop-up screen to come up. So we're just going to be patient. So again, you don't have to over-prompt it by clicking it over and over again. That can actually stall. So let's just go ahead and just be patient. I've already clicked it one time, and we're just waiting for the pop-up screen to come up. I think this is the part that initially when I was doing this, it made me a little nervous. So just bear with it. It eventually will pop up for us. There we go. All right, so the first pop-up, just follow the prompt screens. Just go ahead and click yes for a download from the original file. And then the startup wizard will pop up. All of us are familiar with this. Just click next. You want to go ahead and install. For anyone using this computer, that's fine. You can see it running here. I'm actually glad that we're going through this so you can kind of see there is it's a subtle delay. Notice, don't move, don't click finish right away because you want to create desktop shortcut. Go ahead and leave both of these open, start Screencast-O-Matic and create desktop shortcut. This is very important. Then finish. Once you've done that, you can go ahead. You can see that it's updating the app for its first run. So this is putting the app right on my desktop. I'm going to also show you how to pin it to your, let's see, failed to rename. Let's see if it took it. It may be because I've actually had this on here a couple of times. I'm going to go to my desktop and see if it's okay. I think it's fine. I think it's just telling me that it didn't change the name of it. Let's go ahead and take a look. There we go. So it's fine. That error message, I think it just has something to do with the name. So notice that it did load to my desktop because now you might recall those beginning directions. It told us to select site license, but notice I had to wait to download it first, then go to my desktop, click on it to get this to prompt. So I'm going to click site license. The URL, you may remember, it was LawsonState. LawsonState. There was no space between LawsonState. I'm going to, because what you're doing, you're now connecting the recorder to our site license. Hit submit. The password was Lawson, remember, 360, all lowercase. Go ahead and submit, and there we go. It's now connected to our recorder. Okay. Now that we've done that part, I'm just going to show you very, very quickly how to pin this. If you wanted to go beyond and see this little link in other places, like on your start menu, for example, you can go to all programs, find it. So now I'm looking for Screencast-O-Matic. There it is. Click on that folder and that will display Screencast-O-Matic. If I right click it, I can pin it into different locations. I can pin it to my taskbar and I can pin it to my start menu. So now it's showing at the bottom of my start menu. I don't know if you can see this. I have little pins at the bottom of my tab, like a table at the bottom that runs across. Many of you might have that as well. It's showing there. And it's also right click it. And I am now going to, well, it's pinned, but I'm going to unpin it from my start menu just so I can show you. Right click it, and I can pin it to my start menu. And what that does, it allows me to actually see it under the start. So right now I'm going to click start button, and there it is. And you can see it's on here twice. See that? So that's really nice. It makes it very, very convenient for you. So now that you've completed step 1, let's go ahead to step 2. And in step 2, I'm going to show you how to use Screencast-O-Matic.